Hello, welcome back. Let's get to continuing the main quest. So in review, we are reliably informed that the members of the Levelin resistance operating here have taken receipt of several large shipments of crystals. Our task being to ascertain who and why. Given the size of the shipment, I find it hard to believe that anyone here could be wholly unaware of this resistance movement. The challenge, of course, will be finding individuals who are both able and willing to share such information with outsiders. It would seem sensible to divide our forces. Edgar, why don't you question the residents in the eastern half of town? Alexander will do the same in the western, and afterwards we can rendezvous here to share our findings. Let me guess, come to join the fight, have you? No need to deny it, friend. You are not the first to answer the Griffin's call. Well, he lit a fire in every Alamegan's heart. He also inspired more than a few old dons to pledge themselves to the cause. And little wonder the Guardians won't stop until we all under the yoke. Tell you what, I see you there, going around asking questions, looking for the Griffin and his lot, I bet. They're the talk of little Amigo these days. Folks wondering that he's about, and what he's got in store for the Guardians, and what's under that mask of his, of course. Some say he's hardly got a face, and that with all the scars. Others reckon he's been marked for death by the Empire, and they send a bloody legion if they knew he was here. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, so there's not a hole in the ceiling here. The resistance down to find out if I'm not as if it'd be any useful. If you get stored by all these tales of secret weapons, good luck to you. But I ain't too old for the mask's bedtime stories. This is our lot, and it's time we got used to it. I suppose I should ask what you learned, but I think I already know. This Griffin seems to be the leader of the newly formed faction within the Resistance. The Masks, yet despite the growing popularity, no one seems to know much about them, only that they are most aggressively militant, grouped to join the movement in recent memory. Indeed, many claim their commitment to the cause of El Amigo liberation is unraveled. We can but hope their revolutionary fervor is never channeled in the direction of a primal. Though I feel confident that this is a group which received the crystal shipments, we yet lack proof. Before taking any actions, I would speak with the settlement's leader to confirm my suspicions. And happiness is helpful I am about it. Given you and Gundbold are already acquainted, mayhap it would be best if you took the lead, shall we? Much as it's pleased to see you again, Edgar, I cannot help but wonder if I should be worried. I hear yours are been asking questions. The Griffin, I know of him. As do we all, he and his Max have become a leading faction within the Resistance. Though there we suspicion at first glance his secretive ways. He quickly proved himself a charismatic and capable commander. Men are drawn to his passion and his vision. They truly believe that he has what it takes to lead them to victory. Even I cannot help but admire the man for what he's accomplished, but I have not forget Wilrant. I was blind to the danger of his ambitions, and you were not. The Griffin will soon deliver a speech to his people at the sunken temple of Quarn. Go and see him with your own eyes. Wait his words with your own heart. How convenient. It is but a pity Thancred is not here to join us. You two go on ahead. I shall stay behind and wait for him. Has it already begun? I hear voices coming from within. Is this a voice cutscene, or am I going to have to do some talking? Sounds like it's voiced.
Brothers and sisters, 20 years ago, Alamigo, our home, was claimed by the Garlean Empire. In our haste to overthrow the King of Ruin, we turned a blind eye to our foes in the north. With our glorious revolution, we but laid a path for a new tyrant to succeed the old. And when confronted with our failure, we fled. Not a day goes by that I do not think of those we left behind. Think of them and feel ashamed. And I know each and every one of you feels the same. We abandoned them, our own flesh and blood, to labor till their backs gave in and their breath gave out, building the twisted steel ramparts which now mar our once majestic mountains. We abandoned them, the brave and true, to fight and die for their country, or worse, to be conscripted and sent off to rob another poor bastard of his home. We abandoned them, the meek and powerless, to bow and scrape when the Garleans pass, to sully themselves that they might live to see another day of misery. The Black Wolf may be dead, but a new Imperial Viceroy reigns in Alamigo now. A beast, not a fraction as merciful. You all know the Eorzean Alliance will do naught to oppose him. For all their promises and platitudes, they will not act if there's no profit in it. Only we can free our brothers and sisters from the Empire's tyranny, my friends. Only we have the courage to stand and fight. They have imprisoned us. They have enslaved us, and they have murdered us. But no more! Blood demands blood, and the Garleans shall pay for every drop they have spilt upon our lands. This I promise you, for we have a power within us, my friends. A power befitting our pride, our righteousness. Only join us, and we shall grant you the means to unleash it, and together we shall see the Alamigan standard raised over the mountains of Gir Arbania once more!
A power befitting their pride. Not at all ominous, that. Wait, is that...
two doing here?
I could ask you the same thing.
Well, well, this is quite the surprise.
If you see what I see, if you feel as I feel...
Might I suggest we continue this conversation in more agreeable surroundings?
For it is not strength of arms that will win this battle, but strength of heart.
I guess that's the end of the cutscene. Mayhap it's my imagination, but you seem rather more rugged and world-weary than when last we spoke. Well, the place is neat. It has to be fate. Words cannot express how glad I am to see you both alive and well. And you, though it's very odd to see you and Edgar would be fine. The Braves never had a realistic chance of capturing any of the Scions, divided as they were, and distrusted by the better part of his aura. But if you try and believe that, forgive me. What exactly have you two been doing all this time? We're paying a favor. After the banquet, we had no choice but to flee or die, and we would not have been able to do so without the aid of some old friends from the Resistance. That's right, they smuggled us out of the city and sheltered us in Little Alamigo. All at great risk to themselves. Obviously, we couldn't let that go unacknowledged, so we offered to help them out with their operations for a while. When we learned of the Scion's exoneration, that Lorita has severed all ties with the Crystal Braves and the General Bond had been reinstated, we resolved to make contact. But having long since discarded our link pearls as a precautionary measure, options were rather limited. To make matters more complicated, we were embroiled in the delicate operations at the time, leaving me with little choice but to entrust a letter to the courier. I gather from your personal experiences, however, that you never received it. To be honest, we thought this might happen. Well, the masks are happy to let the refugees spread the word within the community. They're pretty strict about communicating with the outsiders. I know. We heard a rumor that the Griffin want us meddling in his affairs. And the Griffin is just silent for the South Dawn. Yes, it is well known that we are no friends to Golemald. One would think the man we saw besiege all. As Sundry to join his cause would welcome our support. As I should say, that the man you saw was not in fact the Griffin, but an impersonator, and a talented rabble-rouser to boot. Does not surprise me if you were recently for the majority of the public appearance. As you may have gathered, Griffin is an extremely cautious and distrusting man, who has made every effort to conceal his identity. Even when we chanced in a raid under his direct command, we were not permitted to approach him. It's hard to make it all. The scary theme, impersonators, the masks, especially the masks. What? It's not as if I'm making you all aware of one. And mine's only covers half of my face. It's completely different. Anyway, when we heard the Griffin was due to give a speech, we thought it might be a good opportunity to get a better sense of the man behind the... a better sense of the man. For all the good it did. And now you have heard the whole of it, but tell me, what prompted you to take an interest in the Griffin? Summoning, you're not serious, I can't believe it. The Resistance would never even entertain such a ridiculous plan, but the Griffin, well, the man is an enigma. How can I say with any such confidence what he would or would not do? What I can say, however, is that the speech we heard today was not the first to make reference to a power capable of defeating the Empire. The masks have made many such claims of late. I confess I had assumed it to be mere bluster, but in the context of the shipments of which you spoke, it is not. Impossible that they are alluding to a primal. Whatever it is, we'll find out together. If anyone tries to stop us, they'll answer to me. Indeed, that is assuming you'll have us. Okay, we can get a Flugnard, blue, or spaghetti. Going for that middle one. If you suspect the Griffin is indeed planning so much primal, we must needs obtain confirmation. Well, there's yet time to act. To that end, I propose we question his double. Given his role as the group's de facto mouthpiece, I should not be surprised if he were one of the Griffin's closest associates. And where we may not be aware of the sensitive details, he can probably tell us the mask's plan in broad strokes. Like the man whom he impersonates, however, he will be wary of outsiders. He will not expose himself without a suitable incentive. My plan is as follows. You and Alphino pose as adventurers falling on hard times, inspired by his words, and take up arms for a noble cause. Ida and I are members of the Resistance. We recount tales of your past achievements and testify that your usefulness to Strick's head. The enthusiastic appreciation still ringing in his ears, he will decide to welcome you in person, and will arrange a meeting. You will need to look the part of the... We might maintain this rod until we have him cornered at least. Here, this should be enough to purchase suitable garments from Tailbot, and to have him rub a respective amount of dirt on them for good measure. Any questions? It all seems enough, thank you. Now that, Edgar, let us be off. Oh, you want to, well, I don't know what you're up to, but I want no part of it. A heavy leather pouch entrusted to you by Papalimo. Not all problems can be solved with a fistful of gil. For the rest, one must needs resort to a sack. Well, if you're the ones with the gil, seen as your friends of Papalimo, the tunic and slops for the both of you, tailored and treated to your tastes. I'll offer you before someone sees us together. Close maketh the man, as they say. Right then, I will go and change and see if the spot Papalimo marked on our maps. I'm not going to change the rest of the outfit. Actually, let's go and unequip these. There, they'll never think of me. They'll never think of this disguise. Look at us, a pair of down-at-heel adventurers, seeking a chance to recapture past glories. Yes, this should suffice. And now we play the waiting game.
My thanks, comrades. You must be the esteemed adventurers of whom I've heard so much. I understand you have taken an interest in our cause.
A great interest, you might say. Your words have certainly made quite an impression on my friend and I. The Resistance has long, and some would say wisely, avoided open engagements with the Garleans, but you and yours seem confident against the world in arms. I can only assume you have good reason to be so bold. Why, one might even think you are planning to summon a primal. Because that would do much to explain the sizable shipment of crystals you recently received from your smuggler friends, whom our Ishgardian allies have since detained, lest you wonder.
I'd like to hear more about the Griffin. The real Griffin. Your performance earlier didn't fool us.
Ah, the famous scions of the Seventh Dawn. I should have known better than to think I could conceal the truth from you lot. You are right. I am not the Griffin, but I speak with his voice, and it was at his behest that we procured those crystals.
It's only a router soldiers are
You are wrong, however, if you think that we procured them to summon a primal. We used them to reach an accord with the Amalja. In exchange for crystals to summon their god, they will aid us in the fight for Alamegan liberation.
You've got to be joking. Have you gone completely mad? When people find out you helped the Lizardmen summon Ifrit, they'll turn on the Resistance. Alamigo will never be free.
This isn't a fairy tale, girl. We don't have the luxury to play at being honorable heroes. It's because the likes of you wouldn't sully your saintly hands that Alamigo's been under the yoke for the past 20 years. But the Griffin won't stand for it, and neither will we. We're ready to do whatever it takes.
What proof do you have of this arrangement with the Amalja?
What? Aside from a lack of crystals? None. But the beastmen have a great big pile of the things if you fancy looking. You might want to hurry, though. It'll not be long before they summon their god. Search our camp if you don't believe me. We have naught to hide.
If there is a cache to be found, Ida and I will find it.
Then let us be off. Are you perchance the Warrior of Light? Aye. I thought so. You should know that a great many who have joined us did so because you saved them. Because you showed them that one brave man can make a difference. You saved me too once. Helped a friend over in Quarry Mill make some medicine I needed. But that was a lifetime ago. On behalf of my brothers and sisters, I thank you. You gave us hope where there was none, courage and strength when all was lost. We shall not squander your gift.
I know that look, Ida, and I do not like it. You cannot seriously be contemplating taking up arms with that band of cutthroats.
I just...
If the Griffin and his men have their way, it is only a matter of time before the situation in Alamigo comes to a head. Your homeland's future teeters on a knife edge, and any reckless action, however small, could have irrevocable consequences. You mustn't lose sight of that, Ida. When the time comes, we must all make our choices, but we must do so in full possession of the facts. Now, let us away. There is work to be done.
Okay, now let's change before I accidentally press Y. Alright, Melissa, do you remember? Forgive me, you cannot be expressed or called every name and face. And besides, not as if it matters. I have long admired how you live in the present, and how you focus on the problems at hand, and always keep moving forward. So let us keep moving forward together, Edgar. We must find and secure these crystals. There is no time for looking back. Give us the food! And with that, that is going to be the end of this episode. We will see you all in the next.